Hello, I'm Kayla Fromme. I'm a technical director at AT&T. And today I'm going to be talking about AT&T Integrated Cloud and what we're doing with it.
I'm Darla Ahlert. I'm a software engineer at AT&T, and I'm currently working on our AT&T community team. I'm one of the leads that's helping getting the team ramped up and starting to get into Upstream OpenStack.
So the AT&T Integrated Cloud came about from several legacy clouds across the company, including our Silver Lining Cloud that had multiple versions of OpenStack running, including Diablo through Grizzly, with multiple code bases, introducing some maintenance challenges and problems with scalability. The independent code bases provided some challenges that in 2015 we were able to overcome. We created the AT&T Integrated Cloud based on OpenStack. And last year we had significant achievements, including deploying 74 zones across data centers. A zone, we've referred to zone as a single cloud. The 74 zones were across 3 reference architectures or 3 different deployment types. Each reference architecture served its own purpose. The compact zone serves our network on demand product. The mobility NTC zones host our mobility workloads. And the data center zones host traditional business applications as well as VNFs that are running data, video, and voice over our networks. In 2016, we are looking for more significant achievements and looking to increase the number of OpenStack zones that we have deployed across the world, and also looking to increase the number of virtual network functions running on those clouds. Some of our challenges and learnings over the last couple years, we realized a need to get closer to the OpenStack community, work within the community, and we have a lot of technical debt across our OpenStack clouds since we are developing on top of OpenStack. It's different than what's in the community. So Darla here is going to go into our community efforts and why it's important.
Thank you, Kayla. So essentially, John Donovan, who's our CSO, gave us a company-wide goal of using more and more open source software as we reach 2020. We've got this big 2020 initiative, and using open source software is part of that initiative. So, we've realized the different benefits and of open source and how we can put these principles into we're actually using them on a day-to-day basis. So things like being completely transparent. We want to be 100% transparent. We want to be able to share our code with others. We want to be able to participate and collaborate with anybody else in the community as well. Any sort of open source community in general would be ideal. We get a lot of benefits out of using open source, which I'm sure all of you know, but things like security, where if you have more eyes on the code, it's going to be easier to find bug fixes. They're going to get fixed faster, things like that. The customizability is awesome because you can essentially customize the code for it to do whatever you need it to do. The freedom of not being stuck in a vendor lock-in. If we're able to be out there in the open source community and just do whatever we want to do. We're not stuck using specific vendors with specific software needs. The auditability is also another good one because, with proprietary software, you're just basically getting a black box. You have to rely on what those people are telling you the software is going to do, whereas with open source, you can see the code yourself. You can see exactly what it's going to do yourself. Along with that, there's the support of everybody else working in the community. Most open source projects have a ton of developers and non-developers working within the community, and having that support system out there, even outside of just your business, is a really good thing to have. And then finally, the costs. Proprietary software costs a lot more than open source software, so that's obviously something that every business wants to do, is save money. And one of the tenets of open source is to make sure that you're not just taking everything. We don't want to continuously take and never give anything back. So the idea here is for us to create this community team, which is completely focused on contributing back to the community and making sure that we're not going against one of the most important tenets of open source. So what we've decided is, or our leadership I should say, has decided to establish and incrementally grow a new delivery team. It'll be tightly focused on enhancing the core OpenStack projects and platform, and we're going to hopefully do a lot of things that are going to be very useful for especially telco enterprise, just because that's what we are. And there's a lot out there that are going to need the same types of features that we're looking into, or maybe we've already potentially built, and we get to finally push it upstream. It's going to be extremely beneficial to anybody else in the community as well. So just to give you a little bit of background about our team and how we started, there was 3 of us that started in July of 2015, that we were the Lone Rangers on the team for a while. Whenever we first started, we were not, a community team necessarily. We were focused on open source and getting the message out to our leadership about how important open source is. And we really wanted to develop the framework that we could use to create this community team. So now that we have the support of the leadership, we have started actually building a team. We started ramping up our team towards the end of January. We got a big push of people in January, end of January, and we've added a few people each month since then. So we're currently sitting around 30 people on our team. They're all doing different things, dedicated to different, Scrum processes, delivering, developing anything that we can do towards the OpenStack community. And like I said, our focus is going to be around things that are going to be of high value to AT&T, but our community team is allowed to go out there and work on whatever they want to work on. So, if there's other things that are of interest to them, then, by all means, go out there and do that. So they're not restricted by any sort of, AIC needs or any other business needs. We can just go out there, and of course we want to, share these innovations that we've created, and get our work out there, but we also want to give back to the community and help wherever we can. So whenever we first started our team with just the 3 of us, that's the stats I've put up here. For the Liberty release, we only had 6 commits, 98 reviews, and 0 blueprints. And even though that was just the 3 of us, there were some other AT&T contributors. But having said that, it was still the numbers were pretty rough, pretty low. So since we've started in January, or the end of January I should say, so roughly 3 months, we've, like I said, we've grown our team. We're already starting to collaborate with the community. We're trying to ease into the community, but we've already done 101 commits, 247 reviews, and we have 5 blueprint drafts currently sitting out in the community. So even in this short amount of time, we've been able to start making waves in the community and get our footprint out there. And we're hoping to continue to do that as we move on. So having said that, we wanted to just throw together a few little tips and tricks, and maybe you guys might already know these, but for anybody that's new, we thought it would be very helpful to have just some little snippets of information that could help you along the way. I would say the most important one is to not be afraid. Just get out there. I mean, don't get out there and just blast away, but get out there and talk to people. You have to realize, everyone standing around you is a person, and they went through the same thing. They were a beginner at one point, and most people are willing to help you. So just don't be afraid. Get out there, ask questions. Do your research. Take advantage of the IRC and mailing lists whenever you're talking to these people. Make sure you complete code reviews and not just, drive-by code reviews either. We want to make sure that you're actually looking into the code and really trying to understand what's going on in whatever source code you're looking at and give genuine feedback. And then, if you want to get started with some bug fixes, the low-hanging fruit tag is an awesome thing to use. I've used it a few times now to get started in the community. It's an easy way for you to kind of, get started, get your foot in the door, and see how it is to, really make a contribution. So that's all I have. You guys have any questions? All right, cool. Yes?
Can you talk about some of the bug fixes that you've chosen and what kind of projects?
Sure. I've done, I only have 4 commits. Because I've been part of the leads of the team, I don't have much time to develop, unfortunately. We're hoping to change that, but we'll see. The 4 commits I have, one of them is, or 2 of them are documentation fixes. One of them was very simple. I just literally fixed a misspelled word. The other one was also very simple. Well, everything I've done is very simple, I'm going to be honest with you. The other one was literally adding a line to a documentation. Somebody had contributed a lot to this documentation, and all they wanted was for somebody to just, or for that person to get recognition. So all I did was go into the documentation and essentially give him 2 sentences worth of recognition. I'm trying to think of the other 2 I did. One of them was upgrading some ESLint from one version to the next, and it creates a lot of bugs, and so I had to go back and go through all the JavaScript and fix the JavaScript to go along with the new version. Things like that. I mean, it's very simple things, but it's, it's a good, like I said, it's a good way to just get a commit and, get your foot in the door.
How do you have examples of some of the work that the team has done in 100 commits leading up to the conference?
I'm sure I do. I know that we have some people working in, and Darren might be able to help with Nova and Neutron. We've got some fuel bug fixes.
We're pretty, sorry.
No, go ahead.
We're pretty distributed right now. It's a high cost of including the community, sort of, ramping people up with knowledge and whatnot. So, these beginning stages, attacking low-hanging fruit, being good stewards of the community, and sort of being where we are, but hopefully be more focused as we go forward.
What about the blueprints? What are the blueprints that you guys created?
I'm going to be honest, I'm not totally sure.
Who's searching that?
I've been, do you remember?
We have 2 in Keystone.
2 in Keystone, 1 in Nova. Do you know what the other 2 are right now? I'm not totally sure. One was for fuel. Okay. Yeah, that's something that, I can get better at, is actually making sure I'm paying attention to what we're doing, besides just helping try to run the team. Yes?
You mentioned having the team focus on things that are high value to AT&T.
Mm-hmm.
Some examples of that?
So we have significant deployment challenges. 74 zones growing to over 100 this year. Last year we adopted Fuel, and Fuel became a big tent project. So we've been working in Upstream Fuel for AIC even. We made some enhancements to Fuel to deploy on multiple, multi-rack? Fuel expected your deployment to be on one instance, and we have our OpenStack components spread across multiple hosts. So that was an enhancement we made to Upstream Fuel. We've also been working on a lot of Fuel plugins to, like a Contrail plugin to deploy Contrail Fuel.
15 seconds. Thank you guys
Thank
all
you
for
guys.
coming.
Have
Well,
you onboarded any virtual private cloud customers other than migrating from Synaptic or your other platform?
AIC is a private cloud for AT&T, and we have about 200 tenants in our old Silver Lining cloud that we have moved to our AIC zones, and we have a network on-demand product that runs on the compact zones. That's a tenant, a very large tenant, if you will. Also, many VNFs are running on our production cloud.
But not external.
Not
No
external.
external workloads for AT&T workload.
Will it be external later? Or
It's not intended to
oh, it's strictly
be a